So we've got some video here of ATF agents just showing up at a guy's house asking to see his guns.
Okay, that's all I'm doing is verifying that you have it. You got 2 different purchases.
Okay.
If you have them, I'm out of here. That's how quick it is. Yeah. You have them with you by any chance? Are they? If you get, the idea is when you purchase more than 2 guns at a time, it generates a multiple sale report. And it comes to us, and we have to check them out. That's all that is. He did nothing wrong. Did absolutely zero. If we can look at them and just scratch them off, and that way, because I know we don't see this list again.
Yeah, we can just write which ones you just bought, and so we save a trip from coming back. We can just confirm that you have them.
I'll go get them.
Okay.
Okay.
We will wait out here.
We're going to talk about what this means in just a minute. But before we do, let me remind you, we have a gun giveaway going on. It's happening right now. It's absolutely free, but it ends really soon. All you've got to do is click the link in the description down below to find out which brand new gun you could win. So looking at this video, ATF agents showed up at this guy's house. I believe it's in Delaware. Knocked on the door and said they just wanted to talk to him about his gun. So what had happened was our homeowner had made multiple firearms purchases over a given span of time, including purchasing 2 guns at one time. And the ATF looked over his Forms 4473 and decided that they wanted to go to his house and see if he still had those guns because he might have made a straw purchase. Now understand, they did this without a warrant. And they just walked up to his house in full tactical vest, knocking on the door, saying, "Hey, buddy, why don't you bring your guns out? We want to see them." Now, this is a sticky situation. First of all, let me let you know that as a cop, as a law enforcement officer, I can knock on people's door and say, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you." And unless I have an articulable, reasonable suspicion that you've committed a crime, you can just tell me to pound sand, okay? You don't have to talk to police officers. Now, the guy in the video says he kind of felt intimidated, and I get that. He might have a good case for intimidation, but he volunteered to talk, and they got consent to conduct their search. He showed them the guns, but understand this might be a tight spot. So if you've bought 2 guns in the last 10 days and the ATF shows up at your house and says, "I want to see your guns," to make sure you're not a straw purchaser, you have the legal right to tell them to go and get a warrant. You don't have to show them the guns. They don't have a reasonable suspicion that you have been a straw purchaser just because you bought 2 guns. Maybe you got a really good deal on 2 guns. That's not a crime. So they can't be coming and doing that. Well, they can't force you to do that. They can come to your house. They can knock on your door. They can say, "We'd like to see your guns." And you can say no. Understand that. It's a tough spot. This guy kind of wanted to help law enforcement. He's a good, responsibly armed American. He believes in the power of doing things right. But understand, this is not, well, technically it is. I was going to say it's not a legal search, but technically it is a legal search because he gave them consent. He showed them the guns. They don't have the legal right to force their way into the house. You can tell them to come back with a warrant if they want, but I don't think they're going to get a warrant from the judge because they don't have suspicion that this guy's actually done anything wrong. And I know this is happening in more places than just Delaware. One of our local FFL dealers right here in central Wisconsin says he regularly gets calls from the sheriff's department just to double check to make sure that guns were delivered where they were supposed to be and things like that. And he knows that those calls are coming from the ATF asking local law enforcement to check on the status of a gun purchase or a gun sale. So this stuff is happening out there, folks. And this is your legal right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. And they have to have a warrant before you have to show them anything. You may decide to comply or not. I'm going to tell you, make them get a warrant. But you know what? Does that put you on their watch list? Does this become, this opens up a tremendous can of worms. Are you then on some list that the government is going to pay closer attention? Are your next firearms purchases going to be delayed in the National Instant Criminal Background Check system? Who knows what could happen from this? This is an overreach, okay? Stepping out to reach out. Yes, we don't want people to be straw purchasers. We don't want this stuff to happen. We don't want crime to happen. But we also don't want our government to abuse its authority. And every time the government is given more authority, they have the power to abuse it. What I'm going to do is bring Tom Grieve in, and we're going to talk about this lawyer to cop kind of thing so we can understand it on an even deeper level. So we'll have a better video later. And I shouldn't say better just because Tom's in it. I'm doing okay. But tell us what you would do. Comment down below. What would you do if you were in this situation? Want to know when it's legal to draw your gun? Click the video right next to me to reveal a detailed explanation from a former police officer and competitive shooter.